Good morning, you guys. It's around 9:50 in the morning, and I already did a makeup tutorial. You guys have called this, by y'all words, the butterfly eyes, and I basically did the entire tutorial on showing you how you can actually create this butterfly eye look with cheap products, one brush, and three colors. So, yeah. So, if you want to go see that, make sure you check out the video right before this one. Let's dive right into what the title says. As you all know, I have started a new series. You know, I come up with series all the time, but I started a new series because we are on a journey as women, as mothers, as wives, as just children of God, as daughters, as friends. I think that we all, in one way, shape, or form, are on a journey of growth, and hopefully we are. That's what I should say. And I wanted to, because quite often the word has been thrown around. In fact, it's thrown around a lot on YouTube as well. And in fact, to be honest with you, a lot of people throw it around when they refer to me, and I feel as though I fall short of this. And because I am in a learning stage where I'm trying to learn certain things biblically as far as who I am, because I do believe we as women and as of men as well, it is a blueprint of what we should be, how we should behave, the things that we should embark on, and the things that we should indulge in. I do believe the Bible is an instructional manual, and all the questions that we may have are in there. It's just the fact that we have to seek it. We have to sometimes network together and evaluate things. We need to get deep into it and define a lot of things. Um, so I thought that it would be good for each week to have a topic. To this week, as you all know, I've been talking about it, and you see it in the title, of course. This week is dissecting and actually finding out what the Proverbs 31 woman is. Not what we think it is, not what, if we see somebody doing one thing or two things or being able to juggle multiple things, does that actually define a Proverbs 31 woman? And what actually makes her that? What actually entails being that? And also, how we can apply those things into our everyday life now, here, today. Um, Next week, I think I'm going to do a series on submission, being a submissive woman, what that actually means. And with today's society, when we have to be so in control and we have to be wear so many hats, what does it mean to be submissive, and does it actually mean being weak? We're going to learn that as well. We're going to get into that. But right now, we are doing the Proverbs 31, so let me get right into it. Um, I want to throw out a word that I came across, and after defining that word and seeing what it actually means, I think that it definitely applies to not only everybody, but more particularly right now, more specific, it applies to what we are in the process of being and doing, and applying these Proverb 31 attributes to our life. Sanctification. Sanctification can mean many things to many people, but what it actually means is less of me and more of God. This sanctification is a process. Sanctification is, I'm going to say it again so we can really digest it. Less of me and more of God. Less of me and more of God. Sanctification. Sanctification is that process of that. And I think we all should pray and we should all seek sanctification, because in order for there to be real change in us, and in order for there to be real progression, and in order for us to be pleasing in His eyes, I think that sanctification is not only needed but necessary. Um, I came across a lot of principles, you guys. I came across a lot of principles for that Proverb 31 woman. I'm going to name 7 core principles that I have um, basically came across for the Proverbs 31 woman. And I'm looking at my notes, you guys, because I made notes. Whenever I'm doing this stuff, I make notes so that I can come at y'all and we can all learn, and things that maybe I found that I didn't know about. So just in case somebody else don't know about it, they will now know. The 7 principles of the Proverbs 31 woman, 1 through 7. 1 would be she pursues an ongoing personal relationship with Jesus Christ. She pursues an ongoing, not right now, not like I did the video at tax time, not at when the times are just good, not when the times are just bad, but an ongoing relationship with Jesus Christ. 2, she loves, wait a minute. She loves and greatly enriches the life of her husband, encourages and supports his leadership within his family and his church. I think that also, we can get into that. We probably won't have time to right now, but that all, you guys can comment below though. That is an important thing as well, because we as women, we're very, very strong. And at times, because we don't always feel supported, you hear me? We sometimes play that tit for tat. And because we don't feel supported all the time, we say that we support them meaning our husbands, at all times. But do we really? You know, it's always the end thing to say. It's always the correct thing to say. It's always the perfect wife thing to say. And saying, oh, I support my husband at all times. But the question is, do we really? Even when he does wrong. Even when we don't feel supported by him. Even when we feel let down at times with him. Even when he may be doing something that we don't like at the time. Do we in fact support him and hold him up and be his helpmate at all times? We need to question that, including myself. 3, nurtures the next generation, shaping and molding the children who will one day define who we are as a community and as a nation. This is important because one of our roles, and so all the women in the Bible, their roles and their characteristics, some of them, their characteristics were to be nurturers, because this is embedded in us. We are the nurturers. We are. Our husbands are the providers, the protectors. We are so many things, but we are to be definitely the nurturers. Now, nurturing doesn't mean to spoil. Nurturing doesn't mean to allow anything to go on, or to be so in love with the children, our children, community's children, so in love that we just overlook everything. That's not what a nurturer does. So we need to dissect that word as well. If I don't have time, I'll put the actual definition in the comment section of nurturing or nurturer, and we need to apply that every day, not to our own children. We need to do this with all children, because in fact there are parents that are not believers, and they don't understand what the actual job or responsibility of the woman, the mother, the nurturer is. So we have to be nurturers to all children, because we don't know what they lack. We don't know what they don't have in their own homes, in their own circle. So we need to not just worry about our own homes or our own children, but we need to be nurturers in general, because that's who we are as a people. Not just because in our own little 4 walls we are that. No, we are supposed to be that, and we're supposed to take that with us because it lives in the inside of us. Number 4 is creates a warm and loving environment for family and friends. I think this is important. This is not something that I do just because I've read it. I just like to do this. And we have to pray for things to become second nature for us and to us. I say that because everything that you read in the Bible, everything that you find out about the Bible, or characteristics that the Bible says we should have, is not going to always come naturally at first. Yes, I said it. It's not going to always come naturally at first. Because we all are from different avenues of life. We've all, environmental things have shaped us and our personalities, and things that we went through has shaped us and our personalities. So we're all different. We're so different, but we're so much the same in some ways. The thing is that we need to do it until it becomes second nature, until it becomes effortless. But we need to start somewhere today and apply these things in our life. And like I said, it's a saying that goes around, and y'all all know it. It says, fake it till you make it. And I'm not saying, and it sounds like a horrible word to say when you say fake it. No, what I'm saying is that if you don't feel like doing it, if it doesn't come natural to you, if it is a struggle for you, do it. Every day. Set forth in doing it. Try not to get distracted. Continue on the path. And eventually, because God sees our desires and our hearts, eventually it will be second nature. Eventually it will be effortless. Eventually it will become who we are in absolution. So, number 5 is, she is a faithful steward of her time and money God has entrusted her with. See, we have to realize that God entrusts this stuff with us. You are not prosperous because you went to college. You are not prosperous. Yeah, I said it. You are not prosperous because you, was highly and Harvard educated. And so you're not prosperous because of that. You are prosperous because God let you be prosperous. You are prosperous because God has blessed you to be prosperous. You are prosperous because you are blessed to be a blessing. So we need to apply. First of all, we need to realize that we didn't do any of it. We can't take the praise, or the honor for obtaining things, for growing financially. We can't take any of that credit. We can't, because it's not for us to take the credit. So once we realize that we are entrusted, that's a good word, we are entrusted with these things, meaning that we didn't do it ourselves. Somebody, God, had to have given it to us. He had to have given it to us. So once we first realize that the things that we have, the blessings that we have been, that we have received, are from Him, we need to honor. You can't honor the blessing without honoring the source. Okay, so when we acknowledge that the fact that our blessings came from Him, we need to be wise with those blessings. Example, I can't say thank you, Jesus, for blessing me with becoming a partner on YouTube and making X amount of dollars extra in my home. That was not expected. I can't go out and just blow that money on nothing and then not give back to God's kingdom. Are you following me? So I cannot blow that money but yet see the man that is literally crying on the street, crying, and you can look at him because his ribs is caved in and everything, and he's saying he don't have no food. I can't walk past him with my mini bags of stuff that YouTube got me. I can't. That is not the intention. That's not the intention that God gave us the blessing for. That is not why He entrusted us with that financial gain or those blessings. Okay? So, also about the faithful steward of time, we all need to work on these things. We all need to work on these things, including myself, because even though I'm good at managing time, I still can be better. And what we need to do is we need to realize that we are CEOs of our home. We are. Because even though we have husbands, and I'm talking to wives right now, even though we have husbands, and yes, he is the provider, and yes, he is the head and not the tail, we are still CEOs of our home, because last I checked, there's always a president and vice president. There's always the head, but it's always somebody right underneath of him, in a way, in a sense, coaching him and directing him, and showing him things that maybe he's overlooked. Always. That's the order to everything. Obama has a vice president. CEO of Johnson & Johnson has a vice president. It's the order of everything. So we need to, in understanding that we are the CEOs of our homes, we need to manage our homes as such. And I'm not saying to, when we hear that, we think being rigid, being strict, being so overly stern. No, those things don't mean that. That's not the definition of that. And I think that that's a thing. We define things as what we assume. We assume the definitions of a lot of things. And that's how a lot of things become controversial. That's how just like the word submissive. People cringe when they hear submissive, including me. Why? Because when you're so strong, to have to, in our heads, the definition, to bow down, to be defeated, to be weak. These are the definitions that we believe they mean. But do they actually mean that? And that's why I said that this is important for us to do. Number 6, speaks with wisdom and faithful instruction as she encourages others and develops godly relationships. I want to do a series on not godly relationships, but having discernment. That'll be one of the titles, discernment. Because see, we can develop relationships all day long, but when we're on a path of spiritual growth and and just growth in general, when we're on that path, you guys, it's important for us to develop godly relationships. The reason why is because sometimes when you don't develop godly relationships, it opens doors spiritually inside of you. What it does is, I'm just going to give an example. If you with a woman, one of your girlfriends, always drinking, and your weakness is alcohol. Yes, we love that woman despite her drinking, but the reality is being around her opens you up. In fact, it's spirits. It's ironic in this case, just an example. Alcohol is distilled spirits. But anyway, it opens you up to the spirits that may be on her. And when you're mingling with that person, entwining with that person, embracing a friendship with that person, if you're not spiritually strong enough, now this is the thing, if you're not spiritually strong enough, it may open you up to that very same thing that you're trying to run away from. That very same thing that you're trying to be healed from and delivered from. So we have to be wise and be mindful of developing godly relationships. Speaks wisdom and faithful instruction as she encourages, and I'm going to stop there. We often say, because in the Bible it says that we can judge if we do so with a loving heart and we are mindful. Okay, that's not the exact words, but basically that's what it's saying. The thing is that if you are not doing it and being wise and giving faithful instructions, and it is not to encourage, then we are not doing what we are supposed to do. We are not being that Proverbs 31 woman that we think that we are, or that we proclaim to be, or that some others call us. We are not being that. And we all are We all have done this. Because, I'm going to say it again, she speaks with wisdom and faithful instruction as she encourages others and develops godly friendships. She speaks with wisdom and faithful instruction as she encourages. Everything we say should be encouraging. Is that possible to do? It's very hard. Very, very hard. But that's why we need to always hold ourselves up and others in prayer. That's why we need prayer warriors. That's why we need intercessors. Intercessors. That's why we need these things. Why intercessors? Why? Because it is a daily struggle at times. And again, like I said in the beginning, like I said with, all the other stuff, we need to do it till it becomes second nature. We need to do it until it becomes who we are at all times. We need to do it until we don't even realize that it comes out naturally. Okay? Number 7, and the last one, shares the love of Christ by extending her hands to help the poor and opening her arms to the needy. This is important. Piggybacking on what I said. We are not blessed to not be a blessing. We are blessed to be a blessing to others. That is the reason. That is the reason, you guys. We are not blessed to drive the latest BMW and drive right past the homeless shelter. We are not blessed to drive the latest Land Rover and drive right past the man that I was talking about that's crying on the side of the street with his ribs showing. We are not blessed for that reason. And you know what? The reality is, God will not continue to bless us as long as we do that. See, it's an order. It's an order to everything. And especially biblical. It's an order to everything. And we are blessed to be a blessing. I'm going to say it now and I'm going to say it again. We are blessed to be a blessing. I cannot, remember I told you guys that as for me, I am going to, since I was blessed with becoming partner and having X amount of dollars extra in my home, what harm is it going to be if I do a giveaway every month to my subscribers, thanking them for helping me become partner and for being a blessing in my life? What harm would it be? Just hypothetically, I'm just throwing out a number, so don't hold me to it and don't think that this is the number. But if I'm making $800 extra a month from YouTube, why is it going to kill me to put $25 into a giveaway just as a thank you to you guys? What harm is that? Okay, I can get one less pizza from Papa John's just to make sure I can give you guys an opportunity to win something maybe that you don't have or that you didn't have the opportunity to have or something like that. What harm is it in taking out of $800, $25, $30 to do a giveaway? And the way I shop and coupon, $30, I could do about 2 or 3 giveaways a month. Because I shop with coupons and I'm wise with my money. I'm a good steward over my money. And I extend my dollar as much as possible. So, that's what I choose to do on my channel. And this is my way of sowing seeds as well. That's why I said that we are, as a channel, as Big Cuz 52 channel, we're going to, in the next 2 weeks, start giving to, besides what I do at the homeless shelter, this is from my channel I'm talking about right now. From my channel, from all of y'all, I'm going to figure out a charity, and every month we're going to tie it into that charity. And we're going to use the money that comes from YouTube partnership, and we're going to tie a set amount of dollars every month on behalf of my viewers and myself to a charity. Why? Because we are, again, blessed to be a blessing. So on that note, you guys, our time is running short. I'm going to do a part 2 to this video because I have some other things to get into. The next video is going to be the 10 virtues of the Proverb 31 woman. We're going to define what that actually means, because one of the things that a Proverb 31 woman is she is definitely a virtuous woman. What that actually entails, we're going to find out, and we're going to do the 10 virtues of the Proverbs 31 next video. I thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you add and contribute to it as much as possible below. I love you all. Be blessed.